Good morning, everybody. How are y'all? I just want to make sure you can all see me, hear me. I don't know if I'm actually live or not. I don't know if I'm actually live or not. Okay. Awesome. All right. I am going to say hi. Hey, Pilgrim. I don't think he's here anymore. I think he had to leave. He might be back. Hey, Lefty Lisa. Thanks for coming in. Hey, brother at Papa's. Good morning, Mrs. Metal. How are you today? Southern Tier. Oh, it's so good to see you. I hope you are doing well. Hey, Black Cat. How are you? You guys have been singing in the chat. I see you're trying to get me to sing, Miss Metal. It's not going to happen, but it's really close to happening. But nobody would ever talk to me again if they heard me sing. Hey, Dusty. Hey, Brian. Hey, my sister D. How are you? Hey, Johnny Preps. Nice to see you. Keefy Heathen. Thank you for coming. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Shorty. Milton Roots, how are you? Good morning, Holly. J3GS, how are you? All right, I think I got everybody. So how you guys doing today? So I figured haven't done one in a while, and figured I'd come on here, see what everybody was doing, how everybody is doing. I know that there's so much going on, and anxiety is running pretty high. So, you working, Johnny? That sucks on a Sunday. Good morning, Daryl. How are you? So, as I said, I just wanted to check in with everybody, see how everybody is doing. I know that sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Ugh. I don't know how they can make mandatory overtime. Like that just doesn't even make a lot of sense to me. How can they force people to be at work? Once in a while we used to get it at my old office. They'd be like, it's mandatory overtime. I'm like, I have a life. How could you force me to be here? But yeah, I understand that. It's I can't take that stuff anymore. It actually gives me more anxiety than it did help me, especially Xanax. That was it was too fast acting. So it would actually cause me to get it would cause too many mood swings. So it would cause my anxiety. Where did I'm trying to read the chat. I can't read it from that way. Construction would grind to a halt. Oh, well, that sucks. Sorry. All of our goats escaped and walked past 2 acres across the country and ate. Oh no! I hope you got them all. That sucks. Yeah, I can't take any of that. It actually gives me more anxiety. I don't like taking medication, period, though. So when I take it, it always causes more anxiety than it does help me. So I did leave the link at the top if anybody wants to come up and chat. If anybody has anything they want to talk about, or if they know what kind of anxiety they're dealing with and they want tips on how other people deal with that stuff. So I think I was basically what I felt like I was going to talk about today was anxiety and prepping. And hey, Turning Guns, nice to see you. And I feel like there is a big correlation between the two of them. Because, I mean, okay, so when we have anxiety, we're always what if, what if. And basically, prepping is the same thing. We prep for the what ifs. So I feel like so many people, I guess I know most of you here are preppers, and so many of you, have anxiety. Good morning, Surrender to Christ. How are you? Thanks for coming in. So many of you have anxiety issues, and I think a lot of how we deal with it is by prepping, because we are getting rid of our one of our what ifs. What if there's no food in the supermarkets tomorrow? Well, we're going to prepare for that. So I think it makes us more in control. And it's funny because I've looked into this, not deep dive or anything, but I have definitely checked different things out, and so far I haven't really found anybody who's saying yes, there is a connection between people who prep and people who have anxiety. Not to say preppers all have anxiety, but I think, and not to say all people who have anxiety prep, but I think it's definitely more in the norm than it is not, if that makes any sense. Again, this is just my opinion. This is not based on any kind of studies I'm doing or anything, because I wouldn't know how to do studies. So there's also the OCD factor when it comes to this, because yeah, what did I just say? Anxiety is a tool. Well, how do you mean by that? Do you mean like we use it to tune our prepping? Is that, I'm not really sure what you mean by that. I keep clicking the wrong thing. Do you know what anxiety issues are, and what do you do as pre-chosens? I'm not sure I understand the question. What does that mean? Do as, what do you mean pre-chosens? Prepper anxiety helps keep things in order. I think so. Some of it. There's also the other side of it when you get OCD and you become obsessive with it. And I know that can be a big problem also. I know definitely with me, it has definitely, I can definitely tend to go overboard. And I need to recognize that more and pull back the reins a little bit. I had anxiety, PSD until I passed away. That was like a late switch for me. It took years to get it under control. PSD. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Milton. Yeah, I don't. The one thing I know so much about anxiety, depression, OCD. I've dealt with all of that. PSTD is something PTSD is something I've actually never experienced for myself. I know it's very similar, some of the symptoms to anxiety, but I know it has very different aspects too. So I don't even want to comment on anything with PTSD, because that would just be me literally just talking to hear myself talk. Yeah, definitely can. Absolutely. It's helped a lot of people. It's definitely helped me, and I know a lot of people turn to their faith when they have anxiety. Yeah, for a lot of people it is. Not for everybody though. I mean, not everybody responds to everything the same way. Some people, they are not, they don't have any kind of faith in their lives, and that's okay for them. Everybody has their own, and everybody deals with it their own way. That I'm the same way like that, but unfortunately with mine, it's not just instant gratification. I definitely notice my OCD kicks up. And the more I listen, that's why sometimes I have to step back from YouTube a lot, and I can't. listen to all of the news. Sometimes I'm just listening to people just because I want the social aspect of it, but I'm not necessarily listening to the doom and gloom part of it, just because I notice it kicks up my OCD, and I I don't want it to do that. I don't, they always tell you don't prep out of fear. For some of us, that's very hard because that's all we know. Uh, I'm not sure what that word means, honestly. Hey, Casey, thank you for coming. Garden. Oh, Casey, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. I have to a lot of the time, but I don't always because I feel like I need to. I feel like I need to know some of this stuff, otherwise I can't. I can't, prep correctly. And if I don't know about it, sometimes the not knowing is worse. So sometimes I'll listen to it and I have to put it in perspective, and I have to turn my what ifs instead into, well, if that happens, then, we deal with it this way instead of just, focusing on the bad parts of it. I focus on what I can do about it sometimes, and then that also helps. I don't always treat mine, or how should I say it? My anxiety doesn't always get solved the same way as it did the first time. Sometimes I need to listen to it, and I can compartmentalize it. I can't say that word, and that makes me feel better. Other days I have to turn it off because I don't want to hear any of it. So it just depends on the day, my state of mind that I'm in that day. Ah, thanks, Turning Guns. For your anxiety. Any kind of physical activity normally helps. I've had PSTD before I could crawl. I think many of us had traumatic events, but many people cope with it, or goes undiagnosed. Yeah, I think 100%. A lot of it goes undiagnosed, and people don't know what they're feeling, or why they're feeling it. And I think a lot of it is identifying. If you could tell where it comes from, I think that is a good part of your treatment. I know where mine comes from. I know where my anxiety stems from. And so I treat mine a very specific way. A lot of people have events that have happened which triggers their anxiety. Sometimes it's just strictly a situational thing, and so you have to deal with them very, very differently. A lot of people, again, they choose faith, and that helps them. Some people do exercise, some people do diet, some people do medications. Whatever works for you, as long as it's not hurting you more in the long run. Like, again, I'm just going back to the prepping aspect of it. Prepping is great for, making you feel better, but you can't go overboard with it. You have to have somebody step back, or yourself step back and say, hey, we can't we can't do it this way. This is actually turning into a different problem, another crutch that we're leaning on. And our ultimate goal is to not have any crutches. And if you're just replacing one crutch with another, that's not healthy either. I mean, sometimes the next crutch might be healthier and might get you to a better place, and that's great. As long as it's not something else that you need to do that will, if that goes away, will, traumatize you, or make your life worse again, then, baby steps in the right direction is also, okay. I'm the same. I can't do the drugs. I've never taken Ativan. I think it's one of those that you can't even get because I know somebody who's on them and on all of those types of medications, and she is having, and I think that's one of the problems. They keep having to switch her because she's just not finding them at their pharmacies. So I would hate to think if anybody who's dependent on these medications, the more it's going to be detrimental to when we just don't have them anymore. I saw another comment. I have a good angle on. I have a good angle on saying no, I don't. I know it exists, but we're going to try. We try not to let it control us. And we all heal and deal differently. Exactly. So what works for me may not work for you. There's certain things that I'm very opposite on a lot of people. Most people with anxiety hate change, absolutely despise it. Some people can't deal with it. Me personally, I love change. With most things, I hate when they change settings on computer apps and stuff. That annoys me. But most things, I love change. Absolutely love it. I don't know. I feel like it's almost like a new beginning or a chance to just start over again. I guess that's the same thing. Life in general, right now, is very hard to deal with. So many things closing in. I'm sorry, Miss Metal. You know I'm always here. You can always call me if you ever need me. Um, I don't know if you're talking about the world or personal issues, or if you want to get into that. Okay, if that helps you, then absolutely. The only thing I've ever taken Valium for is vertigo. They gave it to me, and one time it helped, and the next time it just messed with my head. So I don't like them either. But the vertigo was so bad that I was willing to try anything at that point. Deal with alcohol, with anger issues, those things. So a young child that don't understand what the parent is. Yeah, that's really hard to deal with. I had some of that myself. Had I had two parents who were both like that. So not so much they not violent, but just in general. So a little different than yours, but I definitely understand. Hey, Captain Silva, how are you? Thanks for coming in. If I miss anybody, totally accidental. I'm bouncing around in the chat here. Same here, change is awesome. Yeah, I love it. But most people with anxiety absolutely hate it. Yeah, see, that's most people, and I love it. I think see it as a chance to start over, new beginnings. Everything that was kind of there is wiped away, and it starts again. Brand new. What works for me? About 250 orders on a Friday night. There you go. That works, right? Yeah, my husband's not too fond of it, also. Hey, Forrest, how are you? It might be me. I might be in Top Chat. There you go. What Milton said. Aw, thanks. Turning Guns, do you have a channel? Subscribe. a generalized combination of anxiety and depression? Do you feel more often than not that they are interlinked? I know, just from my own personal experiences, most of the time, I mean, as I've been through all of the group meetings, I have been through um, every kind of therapy you can imagine. And when they diagnosed me, they told me I had, severe anxiety and depression. And I'm like, well, of course I have depression. I am afraid to leave my house. I don't think I'm a depressed person. I think this all stems from my anxiety. I mean, when you can't do the things that you love to do, or the things that you love to do no longer give you joy, they only cause you anxiety. Of course you're going to be sad. So they wanted to put me, they did for a while. They put me on all sorts of antidepressant medications, and I was just like, it's anxiety. Just treat the anxiety. And so once I was able to, because I was agoraphobic for a long time in my 20s, and oh, who did I see? I just saw a couple people. Hey, Minute Man. Hey, Nostradamus. How are you? So when I went through all of this therapy, I found this one place that just dealt with anxiety, and they were awesome. They were just social workers. They didn't prescribe me medications. They always said, if you need medication, go to a doctor for that. But they literally only dealt with anxiety, and the people who were there had already lived it. They went through it, so they understood all of the stuff that you would say to them. They weren't just reading it from a book and pretending they knew what they were talking about. I always found that the people who just sat behind a desk and they read about it in school, they really couldn't help you. But these people were awesome. But anyway, getting back to that, I went through a lot of group therapies, and all stuff like that. I was in the hospital for it for a while back in my 20s, and they did tons and tons of group stuff. And I noticed that most people who had anxiety, had depression and OCD. It kind of went hand in hand. Not everybody, as I said, everybody is different. Good, hey, Miss Sharon, good morning. Thanks for coming in. And so I think they're all interconnected, mostly to a point. I think probably like 80%, and again, I'm just making that number up in my head, just from my own personal experiences, have other things that kind of go hand in hand with all of this stuff. So yes, I do, to answer your question. Mods and trying to get tomatoes in the ground right now, but right quick, but listening. Oh, cool. Thank you. I can't grow anything. One day I'm going to learn. I actually have to put potatoes in, and I need one of you gardener people to answer a couple of questions for me. I think I got everything ready, but I'm not sure. Yeah, well, you went through a horrific experience. I mean, that would set off anybody. Um, I hope you're doing okay. And everybody, go to Southern Tier Prepper and definitely subscribe to her. She has an awesome channel, and some things that have happened are, I'm not going to go into it. I'll let her do that. That's her story to tell. But I believe it's up on her on her YouTube channel. But yeah, that horrific experience. So yeah, that would definitely set off panic attacks for anybody. Oh, thanks, Forrest. So as I said, if anybody wants to come up and hang out, the link is at the top. You don't even have to turn your camera on. Except for I don't know anyone who can mess with me on that. Yeah. And what was I going to say? So what does that mean? Like acute anxiety, just for like those who don't know. You got that right. Most people, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people, that's exactly it. My very first one, I ended up in the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. I was 20, 22, maybe. I've always been prone to them. I can think back and I remember even as a kid having really bad OCD, things I would check over and over again. Um, Things that I vividly remember. I would check and then I would check again and then I would check again, and I remember certain feelings when I was standing online. If the line was long, I would remember getting hot and being like, come on people, just let's get this moving before I faint or before I die or something. So I always had them. They were always kind of in the back, but they never really hit me until I was about 22-ish when they told me I was having a panic attack. And that kind of set off something in my head, which, sorry, someone's calling me. That kind of set off something in my head that was like, um, wait, panic attack. So, and for some reason, instead of making me feel better that it wasn't a heart attack, which I mean, I was very glad it wasn't. But instead of making me feel better, it actually set off a new thing of, well, now I'm afraid of having another panic attack. And I think what they used to call it was phobophobia, like the fear of having fear. And yeah, and that was kind of where it all went wrong for me and where it just went seriously downhill. No, they really don't. They we did a we did a video here with the prepping artist, and so to where we could feel. I'm sorry, hold on one second, guys. I think I'm having
Hey,
something.
hey, dear, your brother there, Danny, is on the phone, and they'll be here in 20 minutes.
Oh, okay,
Okay, there
awesome.
you go.
My stepbrother's coming. He lives in North Carolina, and he's going to be here in 20 minutes. So awesome. Um, Yeah, so I'm sorry. We did a video on how to help somebody else who is having a panic attack when you don't understand what somebody else is going through and suddenly they're having a panic attack. What should you do? How can you help them? So yeah, most people don't understand. And I always said I have the benefit of having a friend growing up when I was in high school who suffered badly from panic attacks, and I had no idea what they were back then, and really nobody did. And I couldn't understand. He would just be like, "No, I can't go out," and he was a really good friend. And I'd be like, "I don't understand. Like, what's the issue?" And he'd be like, "I just can't today. I'm having a panic attack." And I'd be like, "Yeah, I don't get it. So just calm down, forget about it, and let's go out." So I do understand the other side of it. So I understand what people are thinking. I just got my boys and Princess Seals on YouTube. I caught you. Oh, thanks for coming in, Minute Man. How was the fishing and all of that go last night? Yeah, you know what? Never can until you experience it yourself, and then you're like, "Oh, crap! Is this what people are actually going through?" Yeah, you know what? I can kill anything. Apparently, I do not have a green thumb. I have a poisonous one, and anything I touch when it comes to plants, I kill. And so I've tried potatoes twice. Once, just nothing happened, and then the other time, I did grubs ate all of them. So I got like three little itsy bitsy tiny potatoes, and I took a picture of them. I actually put a dime next to them so people could see how actually small they were when I sent the pictures. And yeah, I don't know how. So anyway, I bought a raised bed like a big like a plastic one from Home Depot. So it sits off the ground, and it's about maybe 2 feet high. And I filled it with organic soil that's supposed to be for plants and stuff. And I have a whole bunch of eyes on a potato that on a couple of potatoes that I purposely saved so I could plant them. And I just kind of want to see if there's anything else I should do with them. I cut them up and I'm letting them like harden. Somebody said to do that, like on the outsides, and I'm going to bury them and see if it works. But you can't say that to me because I can't grow anything. Hey Tamara, thanks for coming in. Hey X NYC. Get anxiety every time I buy ice cream. I wait at the checkout and worry about my ice cream melting. I can understand that. Have you ever had that happen? I joined, but I ain't got a shirt on. I was finishing dishes on my ass. It's not hot, but humidity is up, so I guess. Okay, fair enough. All right, I'm missing a bunch here. I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Totally not on purpose. I don't have panic attacks between last night and this morning, and my soon-to-be ex has my anxiety up. Yeah, I think that that's more stress. Not that I'm downplaying that. They say that anxiety is a symptom of self or lack of self confidence. I beg to differ. You know what? There's certain things that I could understand why they would say that with. Social anxiety actually is a lack of self confidence and worrying about embarrassing yourself or anything like that, or or just not kind of fitting in or anything. So there are certain types of anxiety that would be about, but just for a general term, no, I wouldn't say that. I use whole potatoes that are sprouting and put them in the ground, and that works. See, everybody tells me, how easy all this stuff is, and they just do it. They get thousands of potatoes, and I'm over here like my grubs ate my potatoes. Do you think there is an overrepresentation of self-diagnosis with the youth population, possibly due to social media? I think social media is a horrible, horrible thing for teenagers, honestly. And self-diagnosis is, yeah. I think they're self-diagnosing themselves because social media is telling them to, and I think it's telling them that all of this stuff is, you know, I don't even know how to explain what I'm saying. I get so angry at some of this stuff, so I can't think straight when I get like this. I just want to rant and rave. But yeah, social media I think is a horrible influence for teenagers. I really think it should be done with a parent supervision, or wait until you're 18, because this it's peer pressure is horrible, and the whole social media thing influence is horrible with them, I think. My opinion. I can't relate because so many changes in my past life that I become immune to anxiety and nothing bothers me anymore. That's awesome. See, that's awesome. That's kind of where we all strive to be, I think, of people who have anxiety, that eventually we just learn how to deal with it, roll with the punches and move on. So that is absolutely awesome. I come up, my boys are stars. You have to feed your boys. That is way more important. Very, very shy, I think. It's, you know what? It could just be that too. It doesn't just because, um, you know, just because you think you might have like you don't have self-confidence, it could just be, you know, it doesn't have to be social anxiety. You could just be a very shy person. I am a very shy person until I get to know you, and then you can't shut me up. Thanks for coming in, Tamara. Oh yeah, I don't know if I said hello to you. I think I did. My idiot nephew went to the ER because he drank 5 Red Bulls. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't like Red Bulls. I have they really should come with a warning label, and only 8 people who are over a certain age should be able to drink them. These young kids that are downing them, they're so bad for you. June and we both had upset stomachs and had a small breakfast, but oh, good. I hope they're feeling better, Minute Man. Most people with anxiety don't understand, and most will never know that. I hope they don't. Anxiety sucks. You know, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Well, maybe my worst. They must be hereditary. Had, my daughter had 1 of 10. You mean panic attacks? You know, I don't know if they are or not, or if they could be a learned behavior, or this world. You know what? This world is just so. It's good for people with the. No, let me try that again. It's not good for people with anxiety. It has so many. It has caused us to have such no physical contact, no people contact. Stay in your house. You can do everything from your house. It's really bad for people with anxiety, and really bad for creating more of it. And I think teenagers and kids are feeling it the worst because they're growing up in the world where human contact is just not a thing anymore. You don't have to go out. You're not forced to go out and do things anymore. I mean, how many things can you do from your phone? You know, and people are just like, you know, germs these days. Still a lot of people with the whole COVID thing, and I'm not knocking you if you're afraid of it. But you know, there's just it's so out there that, you know, people are still, even if you're not afraid of the COVID, you know, you're afraid somebody else might be, and it's all about, you know, germs. Don't touch. You know, do everything from your house. Sit in your house and order stuff, and they've made it so easy for people with anxiety. It's terrible. Racing heart, pounding chest, vision got narrow and blurry, and I just, yep, exactly. That's exactly how I felt when I had my first one, and that's a lot of people. Not everybody gets the symptoms like that, but yes, that's a good portion of them. Cut potatoes in half, 2 or 3 inches deep. I'm gonna go for it today. I'm telling you. You bitch. Enjoy it. Don't waste it for no way. Thank you for coming in and extra NYC. Hey Loretta, how are you? Thank you for coming. Oh, that's awesome. See, it definitely can reduce stress. I agree with that 100%. But then I get a headache from the dehydration. Uh, Fishing was great yesterday. 26 large. Wow. That's awesome. Oh, I'm glad you had such a good time. That's awesome. That's a lot of fish. Cover with dirt and water when dry. Okay. See, I got a water. That's now you guys. That's now it's getting complicated. Hey, Teresa. I don't know if I said hello to you yet. Hey, Yankee. Yes, 100%. 100%. And they are now self-diagnosing as victims. Oops, where'd it go? This is me right here. Yep. I get in my car and I I am a very loud singer. I can't sing. Nobody should ever hear me sing, but some people do, and they're just going to have to deal with it. So, especially at lights, I'll have my windows down, I'll have my music blasting, and I am singing my heart out. And the people next to me, I get strange looks, but I'll never see them again. So it's all good. But yes, music really helps me. And when I have anxiety, I like the heavy stuff. I agree with you. I agree. But as an adult, I mean, you get to pick yourself. I avoid most of it. Hey, Pilgrim, you made it back. Drive safe. I always said that. I always said it's going to give you the wings that you don't want. Can't tell anyone that. Can't tell anybody what. That's probably something I said that. Nice when people agree rather than argue. It does. 1,000%. Thanks for coming in, Holly. Hey, Tiger. Thanks for coming in. Well, you didn't on that point. Maybe say been getting nothing but uneducated pushback. Say stress relieving. I agree. Yep, I lived through all of it. So I didn't purposely study it, but I have. Hey, off the wall, how you doing? I just waited to make it, and then I plant them in loose soil. I'm gonna try it. I'm telling you. See, you all are telling me the same thing, and I've heard this all, but so far, 2 times and nothing. I love music. I was just saying that. I'm listening and trying to cook. Awesome. I did my bread this morning. I did my cookies yesterday. I've been off. I was off Thursday, Friday, and I'm off tomorrow. So I'm trying to get things done. Papa's is tonight. Oh yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if Dee, if you wouldn't mind putting up a few of the links. There's so many great channels in here. How dare you, Johnny? Those are fighting words. Never. Hey, Tony, how you doing? I love you, Miss Metal. Oh, cool. Congratulations to your son. After a good cry, good chapter closes, window breaks, and we make stained glass. Ah, that's great. Yeah, sometimes a good cry will do it for you. But I get that terrible headache from getting dehydrated. Um, all right, I'm gonna have to cut this because Oh, Simply Tony, how are you, my friend? Okay, I'm going to have to cut this off because my brother is coming from North Carolina and just told us he was going to be here in 20 minutes, which was like 20 minutes ago. So I probably should like put on presentable clothes and maybe clean up my house a little bit. Love when people show up unexpected, but you know, that's what brothers do. So I'm going to cut this off and sorry, I'm just looking to see if I miss. But yes, much love to you all. Thank you guys all for coming in, and you're all awesome. I will talk to you all soon. Take care.